Alright, let's move on towards the area selection mode. We go there. We're gonna have Ant versus MIO here. It's gonna be Repat spawning by Shake here once again. A bit more surprising, we're gonna be able to see the Professor coming out against an opera singer here. But anyways, on towards the bands, we're gonna be seeing the Gardener, and Antiquarian Seer and Coordinator band here. With the Professor coming out, I guess Professor, well, after Professor's nerf, there's only one skill on the ground, so I guess if this was Professor pre-nerf with 3 skills on the ground, maybe it would have been a better pick here, but we're going to have to see how this Professor plays against an Antiquarian though. Anti still being at the top right now, and Professor being a little bit at around B tier for a solo ranking tier. After his skill nerf, well, the mini skill nerf, it doesn't really affect his kiting much, but it does affect his team kiting quite a bit. But anyways, Opera Singer here with a slow attack movement speed. It's not too slow, but it's slow enough to make just a tad bit of a difference right here. We're able to play a little bit of a pallet mind game. Professor not getting a Terror Shock there, thankfully, but it's still quite an early hit registered on towards our Professor right here. Anyways, even with that on mind, that's going to be a fast music box, allowing Professor to go straight in towards Church. But even with this Church in mind, yes, you do have skills, yes, you do have skill. Okay, that's nicely done. That's nicely done. It's also a stun in the soul music boxes area as well, so this simply means that it's going to be a slower recovery here for Opera Singer. But even with that in mind, it's currently a 60-second cooldown on the scale, which is pretty well, it's manageable, but I guess there's no flywheel here as well, so we're just gonna have to see how fast Professor goes down here. But even with that in mind, Opera Singer does get a pallet stun. Sadly, no blink down here. If it wasn't for that pallet stun, Professor definitely would have been blinked down immediately. But the more time you buy, the better it is, regardless of how many milliseconds or seconds it is. We did get a hit right over the pallet right there, and it's currently a just about 90-second containment. So I guess with the Persona side, it's gonna be truncated detention here with max pallet breaking alongside with panic. Okay, with max pallet breaking on mind here, we definitely have to break that music box first, since we didn't break it earlier on. Mercenary is definitely going to be on his way in as well. With a Cypher Machine progresses here, alongside, you know, if there's a Lawyer out on the field, there's always a chance for a tie. And I think for Lawyer as well in Red Church, she is still pretty strong here when it comes to looping and containment overall. But with Opera Stinger here, it seems like we aren't wasting any more time. Gonna force a rescue at 20% share elimination progress here. And Professor more or less would be going down near towards the corner. Now, we did manage to get the scale bait out here, but if you want to rebound kite, it is pretty hard. And Professor not expecting to walk past the pallet there. I wouldn't have expected it to, but judging by the Cypher Machine progress here, it at least is still a guaranteed tie. We are going to be able to pick up the Professor here. Chair, I guess the closest chair really is near where the downed pallet is, but we could potentially go straight towards the corner too, just so if anyone dares to come in to rescue, it will be a failed rescue anyways. Sorry, just drinking water. But I guess with that on mind, the Cypher Machines are basically enough. They do know what they're doing. The rush is more than enough as well. With Mercenary being nearby, Mercy needs to be careful of this double down. If we teleport here, it's going to be a double down situation, a huge double down situation. And it seems like we did manage to TP over here immediately. Professor does have skills ready, by the way. Professor's 35-second skills is ready. With that in mind, that's going to be a 4-second stun, trying to catch up towards the Professor here as fast as we can. But even with that on mind here, you're going to be forced to break that pallet. 2 Cyphers almost primed, but it seems like there's only 1 survivor currently decoding right now. Another Cypher Machine at 69%. A little bit unfortunate, but we are still going to be able to get Professor down here, thankfully. Now, that 96% Cypher Machine can definitely be primed, but the issue now is the fact that Mercenary is still down in basement right now. And this, well, not in basement, but he's very closely towards basement though, so that's an issue. With Mercy using self-heal here, Mercenary has no items. That's, I think, the thing right now is Mercenary has no items, and if you're deciding not to tunnel Mercenary here, it's going to be the end of this game. We're going to be able to pop the Cypher Machines here immediately. Who are we going to find is a really good question, but if we're able to find Mercenary here, it could be a guaranteed 3-man elimination. Well, a guaranteed tie, but a 3-man elimination is definitely highly possible. Red Pass still coming out towards the gate right now, trying to look for this tinnitus, but also we're able to teleport back here immediately. Mercenary being able to get that gate open as well. Opera Singer kind of losing track of where the survivor is, but with the Lawyer being at the other side of the map right now as well, it's currently 93 seconds on detention side. Lawyer needs to either start crouching. Lawyer needs to start crouching right now to look for a way out, but it seems like he wasn't able to hide his trails at all there though, sadly. So Lawyer should be able to see a tie here, at least from the opera singer. Now with that in mind, that good, there goes down a Lawyer, 72% detention time. Let's move on towards second half. Okay, let's see the spawn here. We're gonna have 46N coming out as Lizard round 1, Lizarding IVT round 1, not Opera Singer this time though. But even with that on mind, I think Lizard here wouldn't be too bad, especially with the fact that there's a huge possibility here with the Windows speed boost intact as well on all survivors, maybe except for First Officer. But we're gonna be seeing Lizard spawning by Shake here immediately, Cordy at Shack, and we're gonna have Lawyer in middle, Magician at the entrance towards Graveyard, and then First Officer on towards the left hand side of Lawyer right here. But with this in mind though, maybe chasing after Magician is a little bit hard, especially for a Lizard. It's basically one jump, one wand for a Magician there. But with the ban picks here, it seems like the bans will be Female Dancer anti-queering with the first two bans. We're not going to be following up with Seer, so it's going to be Mercy and Acrobat last two. Seer was not decided to be chosen here, which is a little bit more of a surprise. But I guess, considering you're against Opera Singer, I guess that extra hit would still be nice. Like, imagine a Psycho in this sense. But we're going to double jump immediately straight towards a Magician here. First and foremost, we are going to be able to see the footprints as well. But now with that on my Magician crouching and hiding, but it seems like Lizard didn't walk towards the right direction with Peepers on mine as well. You should be able to see where you aren't able to see. Okay, Lizard kind of losing himself here a little bit. A tad bit unfortunate, but I guess this is why you need to make sure you look at all areas. And then Peepers is... No, Peepers did... quite sure Peepers popped, right? Peepers didn't pop here. Okay, that is very unfortunate that Peepers didn't pop there. You're able to buy 40 seconds time just to hide. So for MIO's Hunter right now, a tie here is going to be really hard. A tie here is going to be really hard, especially with the fact that there's still a... There is still a Lawyer running around the place as well. But Magician decoding a Graveyard right now. This isn't a blink trait Lizard, so for the survivors right here, they don't need to be too worried about a blink hit down. And of course for Cordy, she can use the gun anytime she wants really, but Cordy with that Windows speed booster immediately put a pallet drop down, and next jump is going to be ready in 5 seconds. But this next jump here, with so much walls nearby, Cordy still has to be very careful with her gun usage here as well though. But you could potentially gun the Lizard while he's in air, so there's also that in mind. So that's going to be the gun here immediately on towards Coordinator. Very nice gun, but also a very nice jump here by Evil Reptilian. Dropping down the pallet, that's going to be the next pallet speed boost here being utilized. But at least Cordy here having no items here remaining, we are going to be able to jump over. That's a very nice jump spot that I just learnt. And with that on mind, Cordy rushing straight towards the double pallet here. But of course, with the Peepers being able to deploy down here, there's really not much a Coordinator can do in this situation at all. That's a very nice bait, and Cordy going down here in 2 minutes. Persona traits wise is going to be Trunk Card Detention here with Wanted Order, Berserker, Rage, and of course Control Freak. The drop down animation, well, the drop down speed buff and movement speed buff, yeah. Persona trait there. But even with that on mind, what is going to be the main issue is, yes, there's 2 full Cypher machines remaining, but there is still a tie turner left to use as well. Unless we get a double hit scenario here on towards the First Officer, which is still very hard, to be honest with you, especially as a Lizard, it is very hard to get a double hit situation. Since this Hypnosis is going to allow First Officer to have so much mind games here being playing, but at least we managed to get the hit on towards First Officer. Now the biggest issue is First Officer and Magician could rescue together, and because not rescue together, can decode together, and because of the fact that those two can decode this together, the Cypher machines are going to be really fast. Lawyer already at 120% decoding speed boost, and then accelerated decoding starting in another 20 seconds. We also do know that Lizard is currently at max presence, but even with this max presence on mind, could you double hit a Coordinator? It's kind of hard, because the moment the Lizard starts jumping and the smashdown comes, you can pop the Cypher immediately with a double speed boost coming out from Cordy's side. Not only can you stack borrowed time speed boost, you can also stack that half health chip speed boost. So there's also that in mind. Now then, with the Magician coming in straight towards rescue, we do see that Cordy was immediately rescued. We do have unlimited jumps here, so if we can get the down here immediately, the Cypher machine isn't primed. Okay, the Cypher machine is not primed. We're waiting waiting for jumps right now. We need to wait for jumps right now. We can only wait for jumps right now. But it seems like with this premature pop here, it's not the best idea. You could have potentially waited. You could have potentially waited for... I think Magician could have force healed there. I genuinely do think Magician could have force healed there instead of doing that. But with that in mind, it seems like First Officer Cypher Machine is currently being opened as fast as it could be. But I don't think Reptilian is going to be able to stop this First Officer from leaving. Now with that on mind, tie game here is going to be very important. There's no one currently at the exit gate in front, but Blink is definitely ready to go as well. We do have max peepers here, but it seems like for Lizard we're running towards the wrong direction right now, trying to find a survivor at the back, but Tinnitus has been lost here immediately. We're going to be teleporting over here immediately. Lawyer running straight towards the dungeon right now. We do have limited jumps, but can Lawyer make it before Lizard did not manage to max jump? And we do see where Lawyer is, so this is desperation. And let's call it a congratulations for a 3-man escape round 1. Moving on towards game 2.